Alright guys, so I'm going to quickly run through all the icon swaps here for you guys, just to kind of see which ones are the best ones for you guys to complete in this, what will be maybe the final season of FIFA before it starts to get a little bit boring. Now the first one here, it's only for one token as well, is an 81x25 pack. Now these packs are particularly good, especially right now because of TOTS and all that stuff as well. You can get some really lovely players in these packs. However guys, as we get on a little bit, we see the next one for 2 tokens is the 83x25. That is absolutely fantastic as well. For 2 tokens, that is absolutely sensational value. And remember guys, you get 9 tokens every season. We will look at those as well just to see how you guys can get them. But overall, I think this is really nice having 1 and 2 tokens. I definitely think the 2 token is well worth it, just to press on and get that 2 tokens. I get that extra token rather for an 83 rated or above is really great for fodder as well. And then for 3 tokens, you get the 84x20 pack, which is just phenomenal as well. That gives you really good odds to pack a TOTS player or something very decent in those packs for fodder for those SBCs as well. And then getting into the 5th one, you get an icon moments pack. Now guys, these packs, some of the lists, we'll get into these as well as we go through these icon swaps. This isn't necessarily a bad pack. Now the thing I have to say to you guys is always value each token, I would say, at between 30 and 50k. So when you're looking at this, value it between 150 to 250k. If it's the case that you feel like it's worth it for that, then go for it. But you guys will notice as well, there's a number of icon moments which are lower than, say, let's put it an average point of say 200k. There's a lot of icons in there which are lower than 200k. So really guys, I don't feel like this is worth it. Now of course, if you hit the highs of the highs and you get like an R9 or a Zidane, then obviously you're gonna love this pack. However guys, I just feel like there's too many poor cards in there to waste your time on these tokens, when you, especially when you can go and get these and get fodder, and then you'll get the SBCs which will come out and there'll be some insane players in those SBCs. So for me guys, these 3 very good so far. This one not so much. I do feel like that one is lacking a little bit. If we get into the next one, and I think this one is phenomenal, and usually guys, I will never recommend taking players, however this one is fantastic. And the next one is for 6 tokens, Bastian Schweinsteiger's prime icon moments card. And this card, the only thing I would say you need to pay attention to on this card is the 3-star skill moves, 3-star weak foot. The rest of the stats you can fix, you can kind of prop up no matter how else you look at it. The mid card I've tried, the prime card I've tried. Both of those cards are sensational. This card will be no different, and this will be a fantastic card for you guys who need a DM, linking into a Bundesliga team or creating hybrids as well. This is such a good card guys, and for 6 tokens I really do think it's worth it, and I'm actually considering taking this one myself. So guys, this would be something definitely to look at. I do feel like this is just one of the better ones out there, and look at all of this. I mean guys, look at those stats. There are of course some key ones there that are missing, like the finishing, the agility, the balance of course are there as well, and the acceleration and sprint speed. But guys, honestly, as far as DMs go, you will not find a better card than this one for as relatively cheap as you can get him. If we get into the next one guys, it's the 92 plus icon moments pack. Now that does filter down into some of these icon cards, and what I would say guys is that it allows you to be able to kind of eliminate a lot of bad icons. However, there are still a lot of bad icons in there. Now guys, if we were to get into what some of those icons are, now really guys, we're not going to look at the highs of the highs, because that's not really where we're looking at the problems from. We're looking at the problems when we start to get into the 92s. Now as you guys can see here, there is a bunch of 92s here which could get caught into this, and you guys can see it carries on and carries on and carries on. Now this list is quite long, and there are some real stinkers in this list. Of course there are great ones like Marcel Desailly, whose icon SBC just got released, but to go opposite that, there are others like David Trezeguet. Now these aren't necessarily bad players guys, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that these are not the kind of cards you're wanting to pick up from this pack, though they will still be good players for you. You would obviously prefer to get someone different. You know, you've got your Koemans, you've got your Juan Roman Riquelmes, even Laurent Blanc to an extent. While he's a good card, it's not exactly the highs of the highs. You've got Robert Pires in there, Schweinsteiger's in there, and again, if you pick up that card for 1 less token, you can have that. There's also players like Paul Scholes. You know, there's not a lot of great players that you can pick up from this pack compared to the stinkers that you could get. Ian Rush, Ryan Giggs, Ruud van Nistelrooy, all in there as well. So guys, this would be one I would actually avoid for the time being. I would not be suggesting you go and do this one here. In terms of the next one, prime icon moments, Hristo Stoichkov. Now Stoichkov is one of them where I don't personally gel well with him, and I do feel like he's a very good card. for other people, and I've certainly heard that from other people as well, that he is a very good card. The one thing I would say about any Stoichkov card is please do remember, guys, that this card is really dominant on his left foot, and though that may sound stupid at the time, when you go to play a pass with his right foot and he tries to play with the outside of his left foot, that's when you'll notice it the most, when he plays the pass wrong or when he does something wrong for you in game. So really something to consider there. But guys, if you look at the attacking stats of this card is a phenomenal card. I really don't see how you can go wrong, and this value of this card, just to kind of take you back to the computer screen here, is 735k. Now the number of tokens required for that is 8 tokens, so take that between 50 and 30k, it's 400k about that to pick up the Stoichkov. No doubt the price of that Stoichkov tradable will come down now that he's in swaps, but guys, it really is worth it actually in terms of the tokens here, and I think they've really done a fantastic job of pricing up these token cards, because to get Stoichkov for that amount is really worth it in my opinion. Now the next one is where things start to get interesting, and that is the Prime Icon Player Pick, 92 plus Prime Icon Player Pick. Now guys, if we go back to the computer screen and I was to take you across to the icons here and then put it onto the Prime versions, what you guys will see is a bunch of icons that you could get, which aren't exactly the best. Now again guys, there's not that many, but there are enough to maybe offset putting you off this card. Now the one thing I would say in relation to this card, in relation to this swap here, is that you'll get to pick, and the chances of you getting stinkers and all of your picks is very unlikely. Now guys, if we look here, that's where the list cuts off at David Beckham. You can see Beckham's probably not one you want there. I don't even think Kenny Dalglish is that bad, but it's not exactly one you'll be wanting now. Peter Schmeichel's in there, Dennis Bergkamp's in there as well, Carles Puyol, Del Piero to an extent as well, Gary Lineker, Bobby Moore. You know, there's a bunch of them in here, guys, which aren't that great, even though they are still good cards, so you would not be wanting to pick these up in your 9 token pick. For me, guys, this one is a bit of a catch-22. I would say this one is worth the risk, but I will not be doing it myself, just because I feel like I'm not going to get a player that will improve my squad from this pick necessarily. Although of course you can get a Pele, Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, of course you can get all those types of players, but it's not going to be one that I go with just because I feel like there's too many odds of me just getting a very average player along with 2 stinkers, and that's not what I need for my squad. In terms of the next one, guys, you've got an Icon Moments player pick. Now, as we just looked at the Icon Moments cards, you guys saw how many cards there were still in that 92 plus Icon Moments that you kind of need to go against. And for me, guys, again, you're looking at a situation here where there's just too many stinkers in terms of what you'll be able to get from that pack. I would not be risking it for the pick on this pack. You can get some really poor players, especially from this pack. And guys, honestly, I would just be avoiding that if I was you. The next one here is Prime George Best. Now, George Best is a fantastic card. I do feel like he has a lot going for him, and if a lot of the issues which are missing from the other George Best cards, like the passing, which is still kind of an issue here, but addressed partially because the short passing is better, the composure issue is addressed, and the stamina issue is addressed as well. So you've got no issues in terms of that. Shot power and long shot still a bit iffy on this card, and actually, guys, at this point in the game, I would not take this card. I don't think he's quite worth it anymore, especially the Prime. If this was Prime Icon Moments George Best, it's a different story because that card is insane. However, guys, I would say, given the stage of the game that we're at, I don't feel like it really is worth it. Now, this is where things start to get a little more interesting in terms of the swaps. Now, this one's a 92 plus Icon Moments midfielder player pick. Now, in terms of the midfielders, which we'll go back to the computer screen again, this is where it cuts off here at Michael Sen, which is further down here. So above that, you've got Kaká instantly, immediately. That's a great one. Seedorf is a stinker there. Riquelme is a stinker. Hadji. And then above that, it really is down to, again, what you can pick up for cheaper. Socrates and Bastian Schweinsteiger, you can both pick them up for cheaper than what the value of these tokens would be. Perez and Gerard and Ballack are the same as well. Scholes is the same as well. Again, guys, I would say that this isn't worth it purely because I feel like a lot of you guys, and some of you will not, of course, the odds will favor some of you, but the odds for a lot of us, including myself, will not be good on this pick. The ones you really want to pick up: Maradona, Zidane, Ronaldinho, Mateus, Xavi. Even you can pick them up for cheaper than what this token value would suggest. Again, and then the final one maybe would be a Patrick Vieira, which is further down here. Or maybe a Luis Figo. Patrick Vieira down there, of course, and Luis Figo may be worth it, but by the time you can actually get these tokens, because bear in mind, guys, this will go into Season 2, not worth it for me. So that's one I would also be avoiding in terms of the icon swaps. In terms of the next one, Prime Icon Ferenc Puskas. Now this card is insane, guys, and I've tried it briefly. I could do a review on that if you guys want me to, so do let me know. I think this card is really fantastic just in terms of his overall capability. When you look at those stats, they are an absolute joke, and he's brilliant as a cam, as a striker, or as a winger even as well. He's fantastic at all of those positions, and guys, he has so many traits going for him as well. He's got brilliant attributes. The only thing he's not good at as a striker is heading, but to be honest, at that height, you're not expecting him to win headers. The one thing that does go against him, of course, is the weak foot. Now, I didn't notice this as prominently as Stoichkov. I thought Puskas was capable of using his right foot at least, which was a plus for me. This one, I would say, actually, again, they've got it right with the value of this, and I think that's worth it. To get a prime Puskas, it's a fantastic card. So I really do feel like they've got this card right in terms of the value of it, in terms of the swaps number. I feel like they've actually nailed some of the players. Some of the picks haven't been as good, but the players certainly, and the early packs were very good. Getting into the next one, we've got the 92 Prime Icon Moments Attackers. Now, guys, if I take you back to the computer screen again, we can see the ratings for some of these attackers. Now, there are a lot of players who fall into this 92 rating for attackers, and that really does offset a lot of them. So Henrik Larson is the cutoff point for this. He's the last 91. Getting down here is where it starts. Michael Owen, Patrick Kluivert, Andrei Shevchenko, Alan Shearer's in there, Miroslav Klose. Those are some of the stinkers, and it just carries on, guys. Now, of course, strikers are... and it says attacker actually, so there's centre forwards in here too, like Cantona, like Hullet, like Dennis Bergkamp as well. There are also wingers like Garrincha, George Best, Eusebio's in there, of course, another centre forward too. Ronaldinho will be in, or would have been in here as well actually if he was a left winger like last year. He's not, he's a cam this year. But there's a lot of cards in here again, guys, which I just don't think it's worth it. And if they'd made this a 93 one, I would say, yep, take your chances on that, guys. You're not going to get that many stinkers in there to get a player pick from. And again, generally, guys, the odds will favor you for this card in terms of what you're picking. But given the number of cards that are in there that you could be stuck with, I just feel like it really isn't worth it, especially just for attackers only. If we get into the next one, Prime Icon Moments Rio Ferdinand for 15 tokens. Now, guys, overall, I would say Rio Ferdinand is a fantastic card. Really is one of the best cards in the game this year in terms of defensive side of things. 1.51 million currently is his price on the PlayStation. If we took up 15 tokens, that's 750k, basing that on 50 token value. If we took it at 100k per token, that's 1.5 million. You will have to wait a significant amount of time to be able to get this card, guys, and by that point, this card will no longer be worth what I think that 15 tokens is worth. So for me, guys, this is one of the few players that I'm going to say, if you want to get him in your defense and you want an elite defender that you will be using in July time, then that's fine. Go ahead and pick up this Ferdinand. But for me, guys, this is one that I would be avoiding out of all the players. This is the one that I think a bit iffy there in terms of players. The value will be a little bit different, but again, guys, I just don't think he's worth it. Now, getting into the next one, the 93 plus Icon Moments player pick. Now, if we just go back to the computer screen again, and to filter out down to that 93, now, of course, you guys can see Andrea Pirlo was there. If we go to the 93s, it cuts off here at Ryan Giggs, goes up to Van Nistelrooy, Cannavaro, Raul, Hugo Sanchez is in there as well, Javier Zanetti. There are some stinkers in there, but actually, guys, the number of stinkers in there now is far, far reduced. Now, you do, of course, cut out some very good players, such as Patrick Vieira isn't in there, Andrea Pirlo is in there, Bergkamp is in there as well, Puyol. Now, I'm mentioning these players specifically, guys, because you need to understand the players that you could get as opposed to the players that you might get. Now, the one thing I will say, guys, is that for the 38 odd players, and I did this count earlier, there's about 38 players in there or so that you could get from this pick. 15 of them aren't so good in terms of value, in terms of the grind you'll have to put in. That leaves 23 of them to be very good picks, and the chances of you getting 3 of the stinkers in your picks is very unlikely. So, guys, this is one actually I think that is absolutely 100% going to be worth it if you guys want to wait until July again to graft out those last 9 icon swaps and grab that card. Then I do feel like it's worth it. And the very last one here, guys, and one that's very close to my heart, but unfortunately I will not be doing, is Patrick Vieira. Now, Patrick Vieira, of course, as I'm an Arsenal fan, I would love to do this card, guys, but again, we have to think about the timing here. This is going to be trending towards July time when we're going to be getting this card. That's 2 months before FIFA 22 releases. If you don't mind waiting until then to play with Patrick Vieira for a couple of months, then that's absolutely fine, guys. And actually, guys, in terms of token value, I do think this card will hold its value compared to what the value of the icon will be at the end of the game. However, What I will say is you have to wait an incredibly long amount of time for what you could get, as opposed to just going in and picking up a bunch of TOTS cards, or maybe picking up the mid version of Vieira, which at this point in time I actually think is better than the prime card, purely based on that agility and speed factor. For me, guys, although this one is one very close to my heart, this one I would say avoid this one, go and pick up something else. So my recommendation, guys, for the icon swaps, I actually think these first 3 packs are fantastic. If you guys can graft them out quickly go and do them, open them up on the TOTS of your choice, and you'll get some wonderful cards out there. I almost guarantee it. The next one I would say, guys, actually I think Bastian Schweinsteiger is really worth it, and actually the combination I will be doing is the 84x20, which is 3 tokens, and Bastian Schweinsteiger, because he fits into my team, links into my Marco Reus really nicely. So that's one I will be doing actually, guys, for myself. Stoichkov, not a bad one as well. Puskas I think is very good as well. In terms of these player picks, I would actually be avoiding all of them except the 16 token one, guys. I think that's worth it, and actually I think these 3 are good in terms of what you can get, but I would say the Icon Moments player pick is better than the other 2. I'd say Patrick Vieira is a very good one. If you want an elite midfielder to use for the last 2 months of the game, then sure. Ferdinand, the same sort of story, an elite centre back you can use for the last couple of months of the game. But if you ask me which of these high token ones to take, I would say take these. One of these 3, I would say that one there. The middle one, the 93 Icon Moments player pick, is the one for you. And if you want me to recommend which ones you guys should be grafting out, graft out these ones here, the first 3, or then graft out a Schweinsteiger, or maybe even a Stoichkov or a Puskas. I wouldn't be going into the higher ones other than those ones that I have recommended. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please do smash that like button and hit that subscribe button as well. It really does help out the channel, helps me grow, guys. And until next time, I will catch you all in a bit.